inside those gulags was almost another world. That is, they were Soviet citizens arrested, particularly under Stalin, mainly under Stalin. And as the Second World War developed, prisoners or those in occupied territories, some of them, were interned in these concentration camps. And they endured unimaginable suffering. So this is a story of a group who break out. Didn't happen very often. They can only go south because, north is to the further frozen Siberia. East is Soviet all the way to the Pacific. West is either Soviet or Nazi. South, the only hope of freedom. But what a journey. And this group has to travel, the group is initially 6 or 7 of them, south through Siberia to Mongolia, China, Tibet, and ultimately India. And you kind of know when they set off that it's told to you that they won't all make it. And I love a line from the central character, Janusz, the Jim Sturgis character, who says, "But they'll die free men." And I thought it was a fair gamble, and I'd like to think I would have gone. The one we chose was one which, you've got 2 types of work: mining, which is almost a death sentence, and timber cutting. And essentially what this was a shadow world of the Soviet Union. This was an industry. These were slaves working for the Soviet Union in a highly inefficient way, in the sense they just, allowed their slaves to die off because they would, by lack of nutrition and care, and they would just bring in new prisoners. We're talking millions of people. A lot of foreigners. Many people don't realize there were, during the Depression, there's some thousands of Americans went to work, particularly in the auto industry, on the Moscow Metro, like one of our characters, the Ed Harris character, because of, the work situation, because the Soviets were offering employment, building an industrial nation. They did say, in most cases, keep their passports when they came in, and they wouldn't give them back. So none of that group went back. And they all would have gone through if they weren't shot, would have gone through the Gulag system. I enjoyed having, as challenging as it was, a large cast always on camera. I think in most films it breaks down. You've got large scenes, crowds or groups, and then you're dealing with your protagonist and perhaps one other. The cliche, but often the villain and the hero, who's sort of fighting it out. In this case, there was a group of disparate nationalities, 6, sometimes 7, on screen for a large part of the film. And I enjoyed working with each and every one of them. And I said to them, however, when we started, we're going to be working fast. You must do more than the normal homework with your characters. I'm leaving a lot of it up to you. Get your backstory worked out. And they were wonderful with that challenge. And they knew who they were. And there were days on the set when we were out in the wild, in the Sahara or something, or on a mountaintop in Bulgaria, where it felt very real, because you were often, putting the characters into the landscape and filming them from a distance, or just even sitting around. It felt far from the filmmaking paraphernalia, and it wasn't hard to imagine its truth, really, and to feel something of it.